Hey, good night, good night, good night. Once again, to another episode of Fortress Fitness Lifestyle Podcast. And I just want to thank you all for supporting over the past year. And it's 2025, we hit it off again. And we already started with a couple of amazing guests thus far. And tonight, this guy is a friend of mine. He's awesome. He's brilliant. And some of you will know him. He was here already. And I want to bring on board my good friend, Mr. Keenan Monroe.
Good
Ha!
night, good night. How are you
Hey,
going,
yeah.
bro?
I'm fine, my brother. I'm fine. It's always a pleasure to have you here. You know,
Thank you, thank you. It's a pleasure to
right?
be here. It's a pleasure to come and, as I say, each one to teach one, to share the information and to get people thinking just a little differently.
Yeah.
As I remember a friend of mine's, he's deceased now. God rest his soul. His name is Mohammed Shabazz. I always remember him saying it's about washing the brain from the brainwashing.
Hi, yes,
So
my brother. I
tonight we're
like
looking to do a bit of that.
that. Yes, and all that is under the umbrella of wellness. And for those who watching and wondering, hey, what Vic talking about tonight? Right, because wellness is not just in the gym. Wellness is mind, body, and soul. And if you watch all my magazine, it always labeled to the top. Holistic approach to wellness, mind, body, and soul. So what we're talking about tonight with Keenan, he will open the window and a broader feel on the way we think and the way how we about ourselves and how we go about each and every day, right? And the choices and the mood and things like that. So Keenan, jump in one time. Let's get this
Well,
thing going.
let me get this thing going. Now, Vic, you ever realize like sometimes you might be thinking you're running late or you wake up and you're like, oh shucks, I'm going to run late. And you're searching for your socks, you stub your toe, you can't find your keys. Eventually you jump in the car, you go in, you find you're hitting every red light. And for some reason, you just have this sluggish force just holding you back from reaching where
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
to reach.
yeah.
And you're like, oh God, it's like the devil trying to take hold of it today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
you ever react?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people, would experience that and know what I'm saying about. And then the flip side of it, you ever wake up just in a good mood with a groove and everything just runs smooth. You catch every green light. Everything just run, you find everything in place and it just flow. You have those days.
I remember the first example you gave Keenan with the red light,
Yeah.
everything. Yes, I had those days because one thing that is real. I just say to myself, "Oh, wait. Yes, I just call the devil in this one." But I say, you know what? It's mostly the time that happens when you're really, pressing for time to go somewhere, and a big truck in front of you going over the lady on
Right.
slow. You're catching red light. A granny pass walking across the road with a child, and it's like, hey, but it teaches you something. It's supposed to teach you something, right? Because time, because you may reach a certain point and you might see accident and tell yourself, maybe if I was on time, maybe I would have been in this or not, boy. And that's where I think now, especially after September 11, when I heard some stories who people was late to catch a flight or late to go to work, miss a taxi, anything like that, and their life was spared. Now, at that point in time, I can imagine just what you mentioned there, was hustle, gosh, I reached late and this and that and the other. And I dropped my child to school today because the driver couldn't come. And bam, that caused them to be alive today.
There are two sides to that coin. Let's explore both of them. And I
Yeah.
say that to introduce the point today, which is the effect of vibration. What is vibration, frequency? How does it play a part in our lives and our day-to-day activity? We always hear the Rasta talk about good vibrations. Or in the New Age school of thought now, they speak about vibration. But if it's one thing I've recognized is a lot of people know something about it, but they don't really understand what this whole thing about vibration and frequency is really about. You ever heard about Nikolai Tesla?
Yeah.
Right, that's the guy that's responsible for your current and the plug that you're plugging in today, the
Mhm.
AC/DC current system.
Yeah.
He's responsible for a lot of technologies that we use today. A very underrated, brilliant scientist. And he said the key to the universe is understanding energy, frequency, and vibration. So tonight I want to get into a little bit of that and how it pertains to the wellness of the being. That is you and I.
Yes.
Because we are souls trying to be human. We are something. There's something that animates this being that we call human, and has us, in this day-to-day experience that we call life. So vibration is the foundation of every single thing in the universe. The universe is built on vibration and frequency. When you look at things from a subatomic level, or the smallest, or right now what they call the quantum mechanical field, or the field of quantum mechanics, they speak about string theory, which is that the universe is made up of vibrating strings, and these vibrating strings and different frequencies and matching frequencies large enough create what you would call the atomic world, or atoms, and these atoms vibrate on a frequency that create molecules, that create everything that we have. Everything solid in the universe comes from energy. So the vibration of these energy strings leads to the vibration of matter and the creation of matter. What we see in our day-to-day lives, when you're watching me, when you're watching the difference between the mic, the headset, and myself, is the different vibrations of these energy fields in different ways, so you can distinguish everything. What does all this mean now to you and me? Well, each one of us actually vibrates on a general frequency. And the general frequency we range from is normally between the frequency of like 6 to 16. That's the general frequency of our base frequency. But the universe, this vibrates, they know it at 432 hertz. The planet, Earth, vibrates on something called the Schumann resonance, which is 7.83 hertz. And we interact with the world around that same frequency. Matter of fact, when astronauts go into space, they go with a Schumann resonance emitter so that the astronauts wouldn't go mad. Because they recognize that when they're spending time away from the Earth, it is interfere with their mental abilities and capacity because they are away from the frequency.
Yeah.
So it means frequencies directly impact us. I remember years, and this is what really led me to go into the study of vibrations and frequencies and the impact on the body. Years ago, I was the operations director, the head of operations in International Soca Monarch. And we had something called the We Coming Tour, where we toured Trinidad and Tobago with up-and-coming artists. And I remember we were in, Castro's in Arima?
Yes.
Right. It had this nightclub called Castro's in Arima. And we had all the artists there. And of course, the artists were soca artists. So when we came, it had soca music pumping, people laughing, dancing, whining, having a time. And I sat down watching the crowd, the people, and then the artists went up, they performed, people enjoyed themselves, people drinking 2 Carib in their hand, enjoying themselves. I'm telling you. And right after the soca artists came off, they started a round of dancehall music. Particularly, they were playing Bounty Killer and some real gunman music started coming. You know what they're talking about? Gunman music, real bad boy music starts coming on. And I watched and saw the energy, everyone, the demeanor, people change. And the whole energy change and atmosphere change. And about 10 minutes into that, a fight broke out. And it triggered something in me. And I said, but music has this kind of effect on people, boy.
Yeah.
And when you and I, we listen to some good music, some happy, some uplifting music, it changes your mood. When you listen to melancholy music, you remember when you get horn. When you listen to, angry music, you remember when somebody owe you money. And it means that, and it's not just the music, but the vibration that comes to you, it affects you.
Yes, it does. It does. You're so correct.
Right?
Yes, you're correct.
Exactly. So we receive vibrations and get affected. That is 1. 2. I mentioned when I was opening, talking about sometimes you get up in a rush and your mind going on being late, and you meet all the obstacles along the way. What if I tell you that we ourselves are emitters of vibrations? We are like, you know what a tuning fork is?
Yes,
When
yes.
you hit it, it is make a frequency.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Each one of us, our thoughts, our emotions, and the things that we have day-to-day programming where basically on every single day we have an average of 60,000 thoughts. Do you know it's an average of 60,000 thoughts that run through our minds every day?
I wasn't aware of the number.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
average, 60,000 thoughts.
Wow.
But think about how much, probably about 95% of those thoughts are repetitive day to day. So therefore, we're running on a program of thoughts. And these thoughts, we have emotions about it.
Yes.
And science was able to realize and pick up the emotions that we send out via our heart,
Mm-hmm.
which affects our general frequency and our mind. And the culmination of the two is what generates a general frequency that you send out. When you're emotionally charged, your frequency could be of a low frequency or a high frequency. But there's a whole school of science now that get to realize that based on your frequency, you could either poison your body or
Mm.
heal your body.
Yes. I believe that though, Keenan. I believe that. I believe that for sure. Your thought process is important. And that is why I want to touch on 2 points I mentioned there with the music. Because I often tell people you don't see let's say the so-called bad boys and them who just before they go and do their criminal activities. I'm pretty sure they listen to country and western or no gospel, right?
They listening
Right?
to Luther Vandross.
They listen to what you have and trust. They listen. So that's why that vibration I mentioned there, right? And sometimes too we go through life, we meet people and we telling ourselves or we saying it to our friend or whatever, hey, that I picking up that vibes with this person, right? And it really ties into what you're saying because
Absolutely.
some people come around you, male or female, and you just pick up a bad vibes, a feeling, right? And you just can't resonate with them. Like they didn't work with that certain kind
Yeah.
of yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're on point with
And it's
that.
that.
Yes.
And it's real because we are
Mm.
emitters and receivers of vibration. We are emitters and receivers of energy. Our being extends beyond the physical form. It has something called bioluminescent technology to pick up your aura, which is the extension of you outside of the physical body, which holds information of your energy, which is the vibration of your body that goes out. And this vibration is what interacts with the universe. And I'll tell you all something that has been so it took me close to 15 years of doing spiritual research to realize this point. I only again this why take 15 years to learn again it tonight. See, but it was one of the most profound bits of information that transformed my entire life. Matter of fact, I could attribute this one point to the majority of the success that I have attained since learning it because my life was a downward spiral. As I explained in the last program, my earlier part of my life wasn't easy. And I had a real downward spiral life at a point in time. And what really changed things for me was the understanding that the universe reflects my vibration back to me via my life experiences. I'll say that again. The life you're living today that you're experiencing, it is the tune that your body is playing and the universe showing back to you. When we spoke last time about the mirror concept, where when you look at the mirror and you don't like what you see, but you want to change the mirror itself rather than changing the image, in this circumstance, this is a perfect example. Your life is the reflection of your vibration. And if you want to change it, it don't matter how much characters, how much times in your life you would find yourself in a relationship and somebody having certain attributes. And they turn into somebody and you're like, this person moving just like my ex.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
understanding. It's because
Yeah.
somebody reflecting attributes of and your vibration back to you, aspects within your own psyche that you vibrating unknowings to you, that they are just reflecting back to you. That's why sometimes you find some of the people that most happy-go-lucky that I don't care in the world is get you the easiest and you're wondering, well,
Yes, yes.
how them lucky so
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
benevolent force. It's like a law, just like gravity. Just like how you're sure whether you believe in gravity or not, you go on top of the Twin Towers and you jump, bet your bottom dollar. You're mopping the floor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The vibration, there's a law in the Hermetic principles called the law of vibration. Matter of fact, I spent some years doing sacred sciences in the Rosicrucian Lodge, and that was one of the first earliest principles, which came from the Egyptian consciousness that they taught. This is the philosophy that Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle, these philosophers that are now revered, they got their information from the Egyptians and the Egyptian mystical schools. They had to go, all of them, they have it recorded where they went to Egypt and they had to go as neophytes or understudies and learn the principles. And one of the basic principles and most fundamental principles is a law of vibration, which the universe is made of. And we are part of the universe. The iron in our blood, because in our blood, we have iron in our blood. Just take, right. Yeah. The iron in our blood, that had to be made in the middle of a star. Just like the sun, something like the sun had to explode and scatter it into the universe, and it landed and it reached this region of our solar system to end up on Earth for it to be used in our blood. We are part of this universe. So we're not separate and apart, and vibration is the fundamental aspect of the universe. So know that where you vibrating at, where your thought pattern is at, your sense of self, it affects your reality and it's reflected back to you. And most importantly, your health. How much of us walking around here, smiles on our face with a baggage, a whole truckload of worries, dragging along in our back with and stuff that we're holding on to for the last 20, 30 years. And we're wondering why people getting cancers and high blood pressure and all these different diseases. That have a saying, disease leads to disease. And it's a real thing. And if we don't, as a people, understand that, because I'll tell you, it's mainstream in Eastern philosophy, where they have practices like yoga and meditation. And these things fundamentally are to help balance you back energetically, emotionally, and mentally. Because you can do all what you want to. I talking to a guy yesterday, and he telling me he has high blood pressure, and he reading a list of, they say, the top 18 things to take for high blood pressure, and he eating 16 out of the 18 for the longest while. And he can't understand why he has high blood pressure. And I ask him, I say, you just ruminate, what do you mean? I say, when you lie down in the bed at night, your brain will just be racing with things that go on with you. I'm like, yes. I said, that is the key to what's going on with you. Because your mental energy is consuming so much of your physical vitality and causing the chemicals in your body to be produced off balance.
Yes. And what going on with him too, although he's taking the pills from the doctor and they're going down, he believed to himself without even knowing that he probably can't be healed. So that vibration is sent out there. Because I know people who was taking certain things before, and they say, you know what? You realize they tell yourself, you know what? Is either I do or die with this. I done at this. I changed my life, but I've done this. You tell yourself, you know what? I'm not going to take these pills again. And you actually going to put things in place as well. So it's not going to be arrogant, to be sensible. And what you say about vibration, I believe in that 100,000%, because you hear people talking, Keenan, but I only are tracking these kind of men in my life or these kind of women in my life, but they don't understand is what they send out to the universe, and also what is saying to the universe indirectly, right? That's the people that they bring. And actually, based on what you were saying before about if you look into yourself and say, you know what, my life, I don't like where I am, is a result of the tune you have been playing, the vibration you have been sending out there for the last so much, whether 20 years or whatever, to get a different outcome. When you realize that you have to change the tune, change the vibration, and to do that, you have to, as you rightfully said last time, Keenan, look in the mirror and say, you know what, I don't like the song that I've sang thus far to got me to this point. I have to change. I want to change. And it start not with changing your job or going to the gym based on whatever is the issue. It starts with you changing your mindset, changing the way that you think, sending out that positive vibration and affirmation. Say, you know what? I am going to get through. I am going to do this. I am. Not I can't. It's how can I? How can I? It's not you use. Not I can't. Once you use that change of language, you send out to the universe, you know what? This person willing, this person trying, and they're not accepting bumps and humps in the road. It's just to deter you to a different path, but not to stop you from where you really want to go.
I'm going and share a piece of mechanics here with you, right? Now, this is as I told you, I spent over 20 years in spiritual studies. Over 20 years. I'm talking about from Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, Islam, Egyptian consciousness, you name it. I went through a whole lot of studies of spiritual schools as far as I could go back. And, the original Hebrew text, I started to learn Hebrew to learn the original Hebrew text that was written and stuff. I went deep. And I've recognized there was a common thread that ran through all religions. All religions that believe in miracles, that believe in prayer, all of them had one thing in common. Your level of belief, or what you would call faith, is what determines the outcome. Doesn't matter who you pray to, or what you pray to, or the deity that you pray to. You call it, some call it God, Allah,
Buddha, whatever.
Brahma, whatever. The intensity of your belief, which translates to the signal you send out, is what determines what you get back.
Yes.
So the signals that you send out, which is your level of belief, which is what you instruct in the universe, what you instruct in, you communicate to God mainly through, if God could know every language, trust me, the universal language is vibration, is emotion, is passion, is anger, is love. That is the real communication. That is the true language that we have, our vibrations. And that is what we actually communicate with the universe with. Words of course, have their own vibrations based on frequencies, but truly, what puts the punch behind words is your level of conviction and belief, which translates to the tune that your body plays. And according to your song, you would see it reflected in your life. Yes. According to your song, you would see it reflected in your health. Because even when you make a commitment to yourself to make a change, and you believe in that change, and you visualize yourself being a whole new human, and you see in that change, the universe starts to conspire. You'll meet somebody to inspire you. You'll start seeing things, along the lines of you becoming the person on that path. And look how there's a guy called Carl Jung that spoke about a concept called synchronicity, which is when you mentally start to think about something and project something in your mind, you start to have what you call synchronistic or coincidences or seeming coincidences. For example, when you decided to buy a vehicle, Victor, I am sure when you decided, that's the vehicle I'm going and buy, all of a sudden, that's the vehicle you've seen all over the place.
Yeah.
If you decide that you...
You're correct, because the vehicle analogy is good, because for me it's true. Because when I say, I want to buy a vehicle that I drive now, and I go up in went up in the showcase and check it out with it. My brother, I see that vehicle before I purchase it. To me, anyway, I turn, I see one of them vehicles.
You start to see it, yes.
Yeah, you're correct. So you're actually...
That's because of the experience of vibration going out, coming back, and your being recognizing it, your subconscious recognizing it and registering, because your subconscious is what reads vibration well. It ain't too well with the words, but it's good with vibration. Good with what you at your core. So I mean, I always tell people, it's not what you want in your life, it's what you believe in your life. Hey. Because a lot of us want to be wealthy, a lot of us want to be healthy. But do you believe yourself to be a wealthy person or a healthy person?
Yes.
Because the belief is what resonates, not what you would like to be.
What
you like.
Sorry to cut you, but I hadn't cut you. You know why? Because you're on point. Let me tell you why you're on point. Is that, as I mentioned that about whether it's health or wealth, people often ask me, Vic, but how you just after work or you're part or you still go to the gym now or based on whole day. But I believe to myself, right? I am doing something good for me. I envision how I want my body to look years now, right? So if I go into the gym after work or any hour of the day, it don't feel like a hassle, because as you rightly said, it's part of the process that already manifested in me. So it don't become a task. When something don't become a task, it in your mind, it don't become a task physically, You understand? So that's why I had the question, because what you mentioned is so right. Because I tell myself this many years ago. I said I want to have one of the best bodies when I reach in my 50s. I want to have one of the best. What could be 51, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. At any age, I want to be one person in Trinidad and Tobago. If you have others, fine. But I know I want to have one of the best. Not the best, but one of the best. Right? And I've been working towards that for years. So when people say, Vic, my goal and my wife for doing what I'm doing, not just with the gym, but with nutrition and all of that, that is my why. So people understand, exercise and making that commitment all the time. Because I have a hidden vision, a vision goal that I tell myself a long time ago. And as you rightfully said, avenues and people has come in your path to make that possible. Right? So all of them doing here is part of it. So you're correct. You're correct, my brother. Go ahead. You're correct.
And I want to share, Shane, I given some real nuggets tonight. And if people listening and they really understand what I'm talking about here, it can have such a great impact. I want to break something down to you for you here now. Ask and you shall receive. That's in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the opening of the Bible is, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. What word is? Word is song. Song is what? Vibration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anytime you speak something, every time you wish something, every time you pray for something, your body starts to switch vibration. And let me give you all the process. You ask, the universe answers initially by your body starts to change vibration. So the first thing that has happened when you look into create change in your life is your life start to get chaotic.
Yes. Yes.
That's the first process. And the reason for that is that the energies have to shift. So if
Yes.
something changing from one vibration to the next, there's a period in time when your energy, where there's conflicting vibrations in your
Yes.
own being,
Yes.
to the
Yes.
shift, because you already would have a momentum of one vibration of the life that you live in. Now you start to wish for a life that you want, which is a different life. And then initially comes chaos, comes loss. And what this is the universe hammering you now into becoming the new vibration, because any life that you have is not a life that you go after, is a life that is attracted to you.
Yes.
So the first stage is chaos. And if you could weather through the chaos and accept change, which means clear the old vibration out, because that's where the acceptance of what is comes into play. A lot of us fight it and a lot of us run back.
Mm-hmm.
When we
Yes.
see things start to change and we start to go through periods of loss and we're going through periods of chaos, we run and we go back to the old vibration.
Yes.
But as if you could weather the storm and if you could understand that you have to accept and allow it to run through you. That's like if you get a gas pain, the worst thing you can do is cramp up your stomach. You have to just take the pain and allow it to run through your intestine.
Yeah.
A
Yes.
lot of
Yes.
people don't know that. But that's true. If you start to get the onset of a gas pain, what does make people lock gas pains in, especially in the intestinal area, is them starting to cramp up and tense up and trying to force it out. It's the worst thing you could do. You have to
Yeah.
relax and
Yeah.
take the pain and let it work through the system. And the same
But
thing is for your being. When it is you're going through the period of transition, you have to allow yourself that period of loss. As they
and
say, that's how this whole cliche come about, where
yes,
when the one door closes, another one open. Trust me,
open.
doors don't open and close just so. They respond to your vibration. That's why they
Yeah.
always say, be careful what you wish for. Because upon wishing, we are powerful beings, and our thoughts and our emotions, it change our vibration that affects the world around us. And as we
Yeah.
start to change, we go into, that's how we change. That's how we grow. We grow through those steps. And the growth, and at the end of the growth, is a stability of a life that you didn't have before. So you
Yeah.
settle now in a new realm, a new dimension, a new orbit. But you have to
Yes.
go through the process. We
And
all in that stage of becoming and going through processes
yeah.
in our
Yeah.
life, but it's how much of us could stick to the process, could stick the grind, and understand at each stage is the universe molding and hammering us into that new vibration of who we are to become, to deal with the situations and that next level, because life is not about having an easy life that just there. Life is about feedback mechanisms. Life, you didn't reach where you reached by just eating healthy and relaxing. It's because you had to put the muscles under strain and stress. And the
Yes,
body
yes,
and the being operates in the same way, the mind operates in the same way. You have to put the self under some level of stress in order for it to grow, in order for it to become more
yes,
resilient, in order for it to reach
yeah,
another
yeah.
level.
No, and you're correct, because it's the same thing with as you mentioned, gym is the same thing. You can't go to the gym to change, transform your body and don't go through pain. You must go through pain, you know. You know, if you know maybe, and the transformation as you're talking about is the same thing. And if I say today to you, or somebody come and say, you know what, I want to change my life, nutrition wise, I say, you know what, you have to cut off sugar. Let me just use sugar, right? And you start the first 3 days. Watch me, you gotta go through a torment in your body and your mind, because everything you see now coming around you, it will be sweet stuff, right? I can tell
Yeah.
you that. I can tell you I've been through that already when I was going through my period of changing certain things, right? Until it comes no more, whereby you're seeing it there is, well, it's just there. And I'm talking about sugar in particular, like, you know, like let's say chicken or whatever meat you decide not to eat. When you see eat it before, it's fine. But when you say, you know what, I'm going to stop eat that, you're going to lie with your friends or home by
Oh,
your
yeah, no
parents,
surface it.
you're seeing it yourself. So what I mentioned about the vibration, confusion, and the pull and tug, you must go through that transformation in order to get the other side for where you say it out of your mouth you want to achieve or where you want to go. That is a must. And most people, my brother, as you said, it is fall back to the normal. You're correct,
Mm-hmm.
because most people don't want that uncomfortableness of that transition between past and where they want to go. So they rather settle for what is comfortable and what they're familiar
Yep,
with.
that
That's what
is
it
it
is.
right there. That
Yeah.
is it right there. Absolutely. And I want to give people some pointers, some tips of things you could look at doing in order to help your own vibration, your own self, in terms of uh, give yourself shots, because the road to change is always bumpy. But you could give yourself, like your car have shocks, the better your shocks. You could give
Yeah,
yourself some air cushion shocks. You
yeah,
have some
yeah,
of those
yeah.
tools and things you could use along the way to help your own personal transition. One is spending time in nature. Spending time in nature is so important, because whether you know it or not, whether you accept it or not, you are a part of nature. Otherwise, go and eat plastic. No, you have to be able to we just eat sunlight. We eat sunlight because what does a plant do? A
Yes,
plant photosynthesizes, but it traps sunlight and in the form of energy using oxygen and carbon dioxide in the air and water, and it traps the sunlight energy into the plant, and then we eat it. Because it
yes,
traps,
correct.
right, so it uses the sunlight energy, and it converts the carbon from carbon dioxide in the air, traps the carbon in the plants and in trees. And when you take a piece of tree and you cut it, right, a tree cut a branch and the branch dry, you take that branch and you burn it. It's not producing light again.
Yeah, yeah,
That light that it's producing is trapped sunlight, is sunlight that was trapped
yes. A while back, yes.
a
You're
long
correct.
time ago. But
A
that's the
long time.
reality of it. So
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
living in something that we are a part of. And nature itself has, the Hindus call it prana, which is where you spend time in nature, and the energy of nature helps to heal the being and soothe you. If anybody going in time and you spend time in nature, you know what I'm speaking about. You get a sense of well-being spending time in nature.
Yeah.
Meditation. The act of meditation, in the most practical way I could put it, is to balance your frequency and bring it back down, balancing off your vibration. And I'll put it to you in this kind of analogy. If you have visualize a lake, and every pebble you throw in the lake is a thought, and every pebble you will see a ripple effect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, and that ripple effect is your vibration going out into the world. So every thought that you drop into your being, that vibration going out is the waves that dropping from the pebble. But what we just do, we taking a whole bag of rocks and throwing it in at the same time. When you do
Yeah.
that, you see a whole lot of distortion in the water. And if you want to know the problems in your life, is most of the time is because of so much distortions and conflicting thoughts we have within us, and
Yeah,
hopes
yeah,
and fears and hate and joy
yeah.
and all these things. And we don't clear the mind out. We don't clear the body of all the conflicting energy. How much of us have unresolved thoughts and unresolved issues running in the subroutine, in the subconscious, in the back of our minds? Those things are playing out in our frequency. They're playing out in our vibration, and we see it in our lives as confusion. We see it in our lives as the miserable boss. We see it in our lives as the spouse that giving us hell. We see it in our lives as the person that giving you trouble on the road. All those little elements are the universe speaking to us
Mm.
about whether or not we have calmness or we have chaos going on inside of us. And meditation is something that helps you to calm the mind and calm the frequencies down to the base frequencies.
And, and,
Yeah.
I, and I think
Go
too,
ahead.
Keenan, whilst you're on that, I think too, would you say that listening to positive speeches, motivational speaking, do you think that will help somebody who now want to start to change their vibration, change their life based on where they are today? Would you, because you mentioned music and certain types of music.
No, it is one of the most powerful things. You know, I have that under what you call affirmations or
Yeah.
positive thoughts, positive energy, positive thinking, things that are of a positive nature or things that are in alignment of what you want to achieve.
Hmm.
So be it positive music, positive speakers, personal development coaches, motivational speakers. These things affect your vibration in a
Yeah.
real way. It's not just
Nice.
some fluff science. It already
Yeah.
proven where your body is affected by frequencies. And let me give you a perfect example where it was said, where it was done scientifically. There's a doctor from out of Japan called Dr. Emoto. You all could look it up. He did one of the most famous experiments to show that in water, water holds memory and it holds frequency and it affects your being. He took three vats or three containers of boiled rice and put water
Hmm.
in all of them. He labeled one thank you, he labeled one hate, and he didn't label one at all. And every day for a month, the one that said thank you, he'd come and tell it thank you and give it love energy and gratitude energy towards it. The one with hate, he would curse it and make all the assistants and his assistants and they just push hate towards it. And then they would take the other one and put it in a cupboard and forget it totally. At the end of the month, and this experiment has been replicated thousands of times since with the same results. You can go on the internet, go on YouTube, and Google anything, and you would see the results of thousands of people that replicated it after. The one that was labeled thank you and positive energy, at the end of the month, it started to ferment into wine, rice wine.
Yeah.
The one labeled hate, it started to get black and murky. It got black and murky. And the one that they left alone actually had the worst result. It just started to get moss and it was taken over by moss, black, murky, and it's disgusting. But it has a key point in that as to why I'm saying that, because we are made up of between 70 to 80% water.
Yes. Correct.
So think about this from the perspective of your thoughts towards yourself and what you hold within yourself about yourself and others, because having anger towards someone else is poisoning your own self.
Yes.
So you holding the vibration of hate and disgust and fear, even towards someone else, they are not having your experience of hate that's taking place. Hate is not an external experience, it's an internal one.
It's internal.
Even
Yes.
though you having it towards someone else.
Yes.
And consider yourself that vat of rice, that rice water. And after
Yeah.
how much ever long years you're on this planet, what are
Yeah.
you doing to your vat of rice water? Are you
Yes.
turning it
Yes.
into wine? Or is it rotting away?
Yeah.
And I mean, on that note, think about the effect of how we treat our kids. Because it have people, you would hear them talk about the kids in the best way and encourage them in the most loving way. Then you would hear people who chastise the kids all the time. Doesn't even matter how much money someone have, but you'd hear them pressuring the kids. They're never good enough. And then they have people who totally ignoring the children.
Yes.
And
And
later
that's
on in life, you see who turning into wine and who turning into moss and who
yeah,
turning black in the heart.
yeah, yeah.
Seeing it in
And
the impoverished areas as well.
yeah, yeah. And you're correct. You don't have to be rich to speak life and positivity into your children or even one another as friends and family and husband and wife. Speaking positive into well, we know it now. For those who don't know, speaking positive out to universe is a vibration of growth towards someone, apart from saying it towards yourself. So why would you want to speak um, that into your trail life based on knowing the words of power? Because when you speak of the Bible, as I mentioned, a lot of times in the Bible, most of the time, I can't count, maybe thousands upon time, you hear about speak it into existence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Speak it, right? You hear about faith, belief, speak, right? That's and he also said somewhere in there, life and death is in the power of tongue. And when Jesus Christ was
Mm-hmm.
on this earth, he speak his miracles. He speak it, and it make it possible. So at the end of the day, the same tongue that we use. I was telling somebody this the other day, Kina, and they say a lot of people don't really take the time to understand or to, we live a kind of Viking life, right? So the same way we put our hands together and pray out our mouth loud and worship God and say, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God, for this and that with the same tongue. We don't hum it, we just speak it, right? Is it not the same tongue we chastising one another with or speaking that into our children or other people? It's the same tongue. So if a tongue could give you blessing, why can't I give you a curse?
It's benevolent. We are so powerful in our
Yeah,
energy of
yeah,
creating
yeah,
our own vibration and sending it out. We don't understand. So I
yes,
often tell people, spending an hour in church, giving reverence and, oh, Lord, Father, this, that thing, and you're the most pious person. But as you leave church, you're back talking the next person. You see, bless
yeah,
Lord, thing on your thing on it, thing,
yeah,
and the
yeah,
life is the worst as you go out. Think about every word and thought and intention that comes out of you as a prayer. So how
yeah,
much times in the day you're praying about things positive and how much times in the day you're praying about things negatively? Think about
yes,
every word either as a prayer or a curse. So how much
yes,
times you're cursing yourself? Because when you send negativity out towards someone else, the universe picking up negativity in your energy. And in some
yes.
way, some level, it must be reflected back to you.
It must, yes, it must.
The most powerful, in my opinion, and in all spiritual books, they say the most powerful frequency that you could emit is that of gratitude.
Hey, hey. Yes, my
Because
brother.
the frequency of gratitude is one of the highest frequencies that you could emit. And that frequency of gratitude, it it instructs the universe to give you a reality that you are grateful for. That's the best way I could put it to you. Instructing the universe how to treat you through your vibration. And if you
Yes.
want good things,
To come your way, you will have to, show gratitude for the little things that you had today. And that's what Skinner was saying. And, I realize you're getting some
to
internet
come, you
problem there.
have to be grateful for what you
Yes.
have. So that whatever.
Yes, Skinner. I lost it
Sorry
there.
about
I,
that.
I lost it there,
You,
Albert.
you hear
Yes.
me?
Yeah,
Right.
and yeah. And you was on the point of being
Yeah.
gratitude. I think the message there, I try to pick
Gratitude.
up. Yes.
Gratitude.
Yes. Yes. If you want to receive.
Gratitude is one of the most powerful frequencies. You want to receive, you have to be grateful. You want to
Yes.
receive, you have to be grateful.
Yes. Yes.
You have
Yes.
to display it, have a quotient of positive and negative energy. Jealousy, hatred, anger. These are things that we do experience, but how much part of your day is spent in those energies? When you have negative feelings, like as I say, fight or flight. When you experience something and you go through anger, understand this. 4,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago,
Hmm.
our ancestors, when they experienced fear or anger and those things, it would have been life-threatening things where some tiger running them in the bush. That's why we
Yeah.
have. That's why we feel so exhilarated when we go through fight or flight, or when we get angry. When your coworker piss you off, right, in the office, you activating mechanisms that were put in place to make you fight a lion, you know. It's just the
Yeah.
lion now becomes the circumstance in which you're in there. But
Mm.
because we're not registering that it's the same kind of energy and the same frequencies that we're sending out that we're not recognizing, it stays in our energy, it stays in our frequency, it starts poisoning us. It starts affecting our reality when we don't resolve it immediately.
Yes.
When you look
Yes.
at nature, at animals in nature, if you watch at two dogs fighting, you watch at two birds or any animals, cats, any animal, you see them engage in fighting. Right after, you don't see them shake it off. They start to
Yes.
shake. Birds shake the
Yeah.
feathers, dogs they shake themselves. That is them resetting their frequency, you know. That is them
Yes. Yes.
resetting their
Yes. Yes. Yes.
frequency. That's them
Yeah.
coming back to base frequency. It's an innate thing at that level where your subconscious kind of understands it more. And they operate more on a subconscious level, so they do it
Yeah.
naturally.
Naturally.
But
Yes.
we ourselves, you find when we go through it, if we don't do things to bring ourselves back down, when we go through fight or flight, when we get in heightened emotional states, the energy remains, it stays there. And we produce chemicals like cortisol in our body, which is help oxidize the body more, meaning it is break down your cells more. It has actually caused damage to your DNA, the telomeres or the ends of your DNA. You know what is cause aging? Your cells constantly reproduce cells. So the question was asked, why do we age if we always producing cells? Well, the reason being is that every time that the cells have to make back more, break down, make back more, the ends of the cells, the DNA, which are the telomeres, at the end, they start lessening and lessening. So that's what caused so that every time cells replicate, they replicate just a little bit less perfect.
Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm.
And the process of stress causes your body to break down more cells than usual.
Yeah.
So, and the opposite effect when you have feelings of gratitude, joy, and love and laughter, you actually start producing more healthier cells.
Yes.
You release chemicals into the blood like dopamine. And these things are responsible for your body creating more and more healthier, well rejuvenated cells.
Yeah. Yes.
So your state of mind, state of being, they did countless studies. I remember a guy called Dr. DePisa. He personally did a scientific study where he took some people in their 60s and 70s, and he placed them in an environment with a jukebox and a situation where they were an environment of where they had lived in their 20s, and the kind of music and put them in that kind of environment. And after a month, when he tested them before and after, he saw a reduction in blood pressure went down, cells started to get rejuvenated better, healthier. All the patients, he realized there was a change that took place in a positive way. And it had
Mm-hmm.
to do with the change in the state of mind, because the change in the state of mind and the state of being is a change in your vibration. And your body
Yes.
picks it up, the universe picks it up.
Yes, yes, you're so correct. And I think, what we lack in this conversation we're having, don't be in schools, right? It don't be in not just prime, but I was speaking in primary school, it's not even in college in Trinidad, right? And even after that, we people are lost based on knowing, right? And that's why I do what I do, and that's why we are speaking what we're talking about here, because the people perish lack of information, and what we see today is lack of information, because a lot of people speak all kind of nonsense out of their mouth, not knowing the damage they're doing to themselves and what is sent out to the universe and what comes back to them and say, but why this that happened to me? But nobody not studying in the past what is sent out to the universe. And that example you give about a pebble in the water is so important, because everybody who's an adult now could know, because we used to play tic-tac-toe and all that kind of thing, right? And when you put a pebble in the river particularly, it don't just fall and drop and you see the ripple. It's impossible. It's a ripple effect, they call it, as you rightly said. But life, our thoughts, our words, our vibration, a ripple effect. And we just say casually, well, you will get what you give and all of that. But I don't think people understand the seriousness about that.
Mm,
Because if you do,
that is
right,
it.
if you do, you will change your language, what you say about yourself and what you say about whether it's even a stranger, what you say about them, you don't know them. Say positive. Say positive, because once you know it coming back, you will think before you speak, right? Because as you said, you won't just go to church and be perfect in church for 2 hours, and say, good morning, sister, this, sister, that, sister, that. And when you come out to church and you go on home, you curse your neighbor, you see your neighbor, you tell your neighbor evening, you don't tell your neighbor nothing. That, if you understand the power of words, which is prayer, and what it means, right? Not just the word prayer, what speaking out to the universe or speaking to whatever God you choose to pray to. But really and truly, one common thing is important, as you said, is the what you speak. It doesn't matter who you speak out to, but it's what you send out there, what vibration you send out there, right? And I think a lot of us, feeling religion is about just going under umbrella and worshiping together. And there's no that. It's how you live your life, how you spend time outside of that establishment, how you treat your neighbors, your children, simple thing, even your dog and your cat, how you treat them, how you treat them, right? And showing gratitude for the little things that we have,
Yep.
right? Will open the door for bigger things to come.
People have no idea how
No, they
how
don't. They
how
don't.
much of this is needed in your day-to-day living, because
Yes.
the life that you have, I would stress it. I can't stress it enough. The life that you're living is a direct reflection of what's taking place internally inside of you. What's going
Yes.
on inside of you is a reflection of your external reality.
Correct, my brother.
There
Correct,
has
my brother.
been countless studies to show it. There's something called the double slit experiment. You ever heard about that?
No, I never.
Well, I don't know if we have time to get into that, but one of these days I'll get into that. But there's so much scientific studies that have been done to show that the observer, you yourself, when you look at something, when you have an opinion about something, you affect it. You affect the external reality by your observation and the things that you think about it. If you're a judgmental person, trust me, people judging you. If you're a loving person, there are persons out there who will be giving you unconditional love. If you're an angry person, well, everybody will know and you will know it too. Somebody always doing you something,
And you're always
something
angry.
always wrong, so and you're always angry. And it's a
Yeah.
momentum thing. It always get fed because it has to get fed back to you in your experience. So there's some basic things that each and every one of us could do to live healthier lives based on a keenness of understanding the importance of frequency and vibration in our day-to-day living. There's something called binaural beats that you could find on YouTube free, where you could put on headphones and you could even take them in with different frequencies. It have a frequency with healing, with DNA regeneration, full body healing, frequencies for almost anything, for mental calmness, for to release karma, release energy in your body. It have all these things on free on the internet, but you have to have the knowledge about it. I always
Yes.
remember years ago, I saw a sign where it had a picture with two people who coming from the desert, right? One sign says um, water 10 kilometers, and the next sign pointing in the next direction, H2O 2 kilometers. And you're seeing one person going towards the sign saying H2O 2 kilometers, and the next person going towards water 10 kilometers. And the person who going in the direction at 10 kilometers just doesn't have the knowledge to know that H2O mean water.
Yes.
So
Yes.
knowledge is very important, and application of knowledge and habits, learning to get new habits of helping to balance yourself off when the day come, and understanding the ripple effects of what it can do, the detrimental effects if you don't. Holding on to old grudges and thinking about what someone else has, the jealousy, the envy, the hatred. These
Yes, my
feelings
brother.
do nothing but age you and add
Yes.
negative experiences to your life. Even if you don't believe in anything I say here about the ethereal aspect of it or the esoteric aspect of it about vibration going out and getting back, look at it from a practical perspective of mental health,
Yes. Yes.
of
Yes.
you have and a biochemical feedback in your brain and within your body. If it is your body has a natural psyche mechanism of whatever you think about the most, it seeks out into the world through your subconscious mind to show it back to you. Just as the car, when we speak about the car or anything, if it is you find you like certain things, sometimes you get a feeling. I mean, you look, you see something. It's something that you know that you wanted to get. Like I said, like a vehicle. Sometimes you just look up and you glance it, and it's because your senses pick up on it, and it's a
Mhm.
subconscious thing that registers, and your brain knows that it has an interest to you, so it shows it to you. So if it operates like that, then think about it in your own personal life. If you're somebody that dwell on negativity and dwell on hatred, then your brain goes out of the way to show these things to you. If you're
Yes.
somebody that believe in business and business opportunity, positivity, and yourself going somewhere, and you hold that in your being, and you have repetitive thoughts about that, your brain starts showing you more opportunity.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Yes.
just how it is. It's a
Guys,
natural mechanism inside it.
it's
So
just,
let's
it's just,
work with the
that's all.
mechanisms that we have.
And another thing, Keenan, what I would
Yeah,
say is
sorry.
that
We have to work with the mechanisms given. Uh-huh.
yes. Another thing I said, he was talking about love and love. Yeah, that's so important in these days of what is happening. And I often tell friends of mine and colleagues who say, no, Vic, you know, who want looking for a boyfriend, looking for a girlfriend or whatever. One thing what I say to them, and I practice is be the person that you want to be with. Become the person who you're looking for. You become that person. You know,
That's
be
powerful.
become that person. So, and I'm saying that to say, if you become that person and you really send out that day, you know what, I change to be the best that I can be. I'm loving, I'm kind, I'm being appreciative and things like that. The universe will make you attractive to that kind of person based on vibration you're talking about, right? And like that's
Yeah,
what
and
it.
it's key because some people would be saying right now, but I love it and I guess it adore.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
You
yeah,
have to
yeah,
understand what you
yeah,
believe.
yeah.
What you want and what you believe in your core is two different things here. And if you believe you will meet bad people out there, you will meet them. If
Every
you
one of them.
believe you're worthy of meeting good people and aligning in a good way with persons and you have that confidence in yourself, good and bad would come, but your brain would have a natural filter for the two,
Yes, yes,
is what
and
it
that's
is.
it is what it is,
So
and that's what it
again,
is.
self-love is very important.
Yes. So Keenan,
Absolutely, bro.
this program will be, I think I need you here every once a month, right? I put it out there because again, as I said to you the other day, you have an encyclopedia of you know knowledge that I think our country need no more than ever based on what is happening out there with the young men in particularly, and feeling that they don't have nowhere to turn to and nobody to really understand, right? Because even as an adult, a lot of adults don't understand because I wasn't taught what you're talking about here. And I know it's true because I tend to live my life similar to what you're saying in the sense of, attraction. And I believe in it, and we need to really come out there. Yes, this platform is about wellness, and this is all about wellness. This is actually more important than actually getting to the gym. Based on for me, and I'm a gymmer, I can tell you that because if start with your mind, it starts with how you view yourself. It started, what you're selling out there, right? And the process people have to understand transition to go from point A to point B, you have to go through a process. And sometimes the process, we doesn't like the process, but it's necessary to change the direction of where we want to go. Right. So I want to say, Keaton, thanks again for coming. Thanks again
Thanks
for
for having me.
giving the time. And we people who listen, Keaton going to be here once a month. Right. It's important because this message needs to go out there, not just Vike needs to go out there more than going out now. It may be twice a month, but tune in. A month not going to pass
Hey,
without
but
you
we
coming
coming
on
with
board.
something new. Me, you, and we be working
Yes,
on
yes,
something. And people, we
yes,
working on something to
yes.
come. We let you
Well,
all
hold
know about
on.
that in the future.
Yes, we have something coming pretty well soon, and it will be exciting, dynamic, and the speakers will be Basel Kiran, and I call the other person's name, but all you will like that next person. It's dynamic because this needs to go out there. All right. So have a blessed night, Kiran. We'll catch up again as
Speak to
usual.
you, man.
All right,
Everyone, bless
and
you.
may God bless you, keep you safe, and we'll talk.